from after those 3 wins?
Well, I think it's going to be a work in progress. I don't think anybody should expect, some major turnaround this year. I mean, it takes time. It takes time for a new staff, no matter how good they are, to get what they want on the field. It just takes time. There are so many, and this is part of the question marks, as you know, about, there's not one position where you look at it, maybe defensive line. Okay, maybe defensive line, you look at it and say, okay, we're pretty set there. But there's not another position on this team where you go, well, they don't need to add anything to that position. They're set. Maybe punter, maybe Tressway. Tressway's okay. But everybody else, it's a question mark. There's different levels of question marks, but there's not certainty, right? There's not certainty anywhere other than defensive line. And I think it's hard to expect, a great season when you go into a season with that much uncertainty. Part of, putting this new culture in is identifying young players, whether they're drafted players or free agents, that can come in and provide that level of consistent production. You've got talent. I have no doubt that you've got talent at every position. You just haven't seen it translate to performance on the field. Dwayne Haskins is talented, but he has to do it when people are really coming at him, when they're, he has to do it in a game, and he has to do it over a 16-week, 18-week season, so it's difficult. It's hard. If it was easy, everybody could do it. So we will see over the course of the season, I think, which positions begin to fill in. That, to me, if I'm a fan, that's the thing I'm going to be looking at more than the wins and the losses. They matter. I'm not saying they don't matter. But are you getting stability on the offensive line? Are you getting stability in the secondary? Are you getting some stability at wide receiver where you go, okay, we know McLaurin's good. Who else is good? Who else is really good on Sundays? There's lots of guys that are great on Thursdays. Who's good on Sunday? So that to me is what I would be looking for. Are you getting that kind of consistent, productive effort every time the guy goes on the field? Adrian Peterson's consistent. You know what he's going to do when he goes on the field. That's what that's the level that you're looking at. Can I get that out of the left guard every week? Can I get that out of the weak side linebacker every week? And if you can, you're going in the right direction. It may not translate to wins this year, but you have to start somewhere where you won 3 games the year before.
So right there, what you heard was David Aldridge. David Aldridge is a broadcasting legend. I know you guys probably know him more for his NBA sideline games and also being a part of the NBA 2K franchise if you do play that game. But he's also from DC, and he is also a Washington football diehard and been around for a long time. And he just came onto the show today and gave his input on how long he believes that it's going to take before the team actually goes back to the old days. And he said something like, it's not going to happen overnight. We have uncertainty everywhere on the team besides the defensive line. So after watching his whole little segment, I wanted to come on. That kind of sparked a thought in my head. And I just wanted to come on here and talk and give a real season preview of what's to come in 2020 for the football team. So a season prediction, more so rather. And it's going to be a realistic one. I know I come on here all the time and talk about how Dwayne Haskins could win MVP, and I believe that he will win MVP and will go 12-4 and something like that. And that's what I believe, and that's what I want to happen. I wish and I know that can possibly happen. We have the talent for it to happen. But is it realistic? No. So I want to come on here and give my realistic opinion and realistic season prediction for the Washington football team going into year 1 with everything brand new. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington football team. And let's get straight into today's video. So, a realistic opinion and season preview of the Washington football team. Well, first, before we even get to the record, we have to talk about what Ron Rivera has been saying since day one. It's not going to happen overnight. And I know that this whole time that it's not going to happen overnight, but it's nothing wrong with having confidence in your quarterback and in your team. So in order for this team to be successful and build camaraderie, we have to be able to compete in every single game, not get blown out. Not saying we have to win every game, but just compete and play hard. This team is relatively young, so I think the smartest thing to do in year one is just to put the young guys out there and see who we have as talent to bring back next year. And I think that's the approach that they're taking. Hence why we signed all these one-year unknown free agents. And not more so unknown, but more so some out of their prime, some old, some that it really is unknown. So I feel as though that's the reason why we didn't sign a big-time free agent other than Kendall Fuller, who is not really a big-time free agent, but he just got paid like one. So that's another reason why I feel as though that we didn't sign a big-time free agent. We did try to sign Amari Cooper, but he ended up resigning with Dallas, of course, like we know. I'm glad he did, because if he signed with us, he probably would have been good. But you know how Amari Cooper is, and he is not worth $110 million. So I'm glad we did not pull the trigger on that, because that would have put a big dent in our cap space. And we're heading into 2021 for off season with, I think, the fourth highest cap space in the NFL. So I'm glad he didn't pull the trigger on that one, and I'm glad he didn't accept it. But that's the reason why I feel as though we didn't pick the big time free agent. It's just because we want to see what we have in year one as far as the young guys go. And of course I know we have Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims, AGG, but they're still relatively young. And outside of Terry McLaurin, who else do you have on that wide receiving core? And who else do you have that's going to actually go out there and make a play? Now, we can make all these assumptions, and I do too all the time, and say, well, we can do this, and I know what we're capable of, but we have to be realistic until they actually go out there and prove it. You know what I'm saying? We can make all the predictions all we want about AGG, make all the predictions that we want about Thaddeus Moss, about Antonio Gandy Golden, and about Rondo Darby and all the free agents, but we have to see it first. And until we see it, you have to be realistic with yourself and say that this team is going to go 7-9, 6-10, maybe even worse. But of course, you know me and my pride for my team. I will say we're still going 12-4, and Dwayne is winning MVP. Yes, sir. Because I think the oldest person on this team is obviously Agent Peterson, but most of this team isn't even over 25. And that's really crazy. So we have to see what we have first before we go out there and try to sign someone big name and then build a Super Bowl. You got to start with the pieces at your home and see what you have. Then maybe after, and you still have uncertain at that position, you feel as though that it's still not working out, then you go get a big time free agent. But you can't just get a big time free agent without letting the rookies and all the young guys prove themselves. Because like he said, we do have uncertainty everywhere. Left tackle, left guard, quarterback. But you still have to give them a chance to prove itself. So, with that being said, this team could very well be worse than last year, and it's not more so because we're bad, but we're trying to build for that chance to where we could build off of this season and then possibly have a playoff run in 2021. And a lot of people want to say, I already know I'm going to get this question, so if we have a bad season just like last year or worse, should we get Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields? And I'm going to quickly answer that, and it could possibly change after we see him. But as of right now, I'm going to say no. If we were to go 3-13 again, possibly worse, no. Because you can't put it all on Dwayne Haskins. Now, if he does go out there and perform bad every game, doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, then I could see why you would want to put in another guy like a Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. But if he goes out there and performs average and possibly okay, and we can still see the promise, just one more year with having weapons around him, maybe a Jamar Chase or something, maybe we put another receiver beside Terry McLaurin, then we can see that he has promise. Then we move forward with Dwayne Haskins. But if he's out there looking lost and not looking like an NFL quarterback, then I can see us moving on from him and getting one Trevor Lawrence or maybe even Justin Fields. But other than that, no, you cannot cut Dwayne Haskins. This guy is too talented. Now all he has to do is go out there and prove it. And we know how different of a guy Dwayne Haskins is now. I mean, it's clear. Morgan Moses even said it. He's taking command in the huddle. Even other guys, you know what I'm saying? So the whole team literally sees a different Dwayne Haskins than they did last year. Like they always say, the body transformation, dropping 17 pounds is good, but the mental aspect and the big boy maturity aspect that he's taken to the game is also good and much better than him just dropping the pounds. So, with that being said, Dwayne Haskins is going to be good. I really do think he's going to be good. But do I think we're going to really go out there and be 12-4? I hope so, and I know we have the talent too, the young talent. But do I want to put all that pressure on them to perform that well? No, I don't. So a realistic option at best 7-9, 6-10. At worst, probably 3-13 again. Maybe 2-14. I don't think we're gonna only win one game. So with that being said, the defense also is still relatively young. The whole D-line, first round picks, but they're young. So we still have to see what we have. Like David Aldridge said, outside of the defensive line, who else is a stable player and stable position group? The secondary, big question marks. Outside of Landon Collins and Kendall Fuller, it's a big question mark. So, with that being said, we still have to... How do you expect us to go out there and be good when we have all these young guys? You know, Sean Davis is a free agent that we don't know what we're getting out of him. We have all these young guys on the offensive line. We have all these young guys on the defensive line. And we still have these uncertainties in the secondary. I don't think it's honestly no way we could be 12-4. But me being my biased self, me being a Washington football fan till I die, and me having faith in my quarterback and my team, of course I'm going to say we're going to go 12-4. But realistically, 7-9, 6-10. So with that being said, it's been your boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, hail to the Washington football team. And I will come up with another video like this when we get closer to the game versus Philly, or maybe even halfway through the season. So as always, big boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe, hail to the Washington football team. Let me know how y'all feel about this. What is your realistic season predictions for the football team down below? Make sure you guys leave it in the chat. I will reply to every comment. And I'm out. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.